I have often spoke of knowing of God, of a greater love somehow existing in life and nature. When I was a little girl, from the ages of 4 to 8, walking around my grandmother's yard, sitting in the weeping willow, or standing or sitting beneath the 3 peach trees in the far corner of her yard. When I was little, this yard was so big. And years later, I drove by and thought, my goodness, this was so small, but it was so big. And in these beautiful places, I found solace, something that resounded within my small heart, letting me know that I was loved, that I was part of something more, that my life mattered. I went in search in nature without really thinking of it as being in search, in times of listlessness or loneliness, and sometimes in despair. I believed there was something more, something called God, simply because I had learned it in Sunday school. But what I felt and experienced wasn't about belief or about lessons I had learned. It was about my spiritual nature, my inner soul or light, touching mystery. I didn't call it God. I didn't call it anything. I simply felt a certainty of belonging and of love. This was important to me, not because I was some kind of budding saint or necessarily any more soulful than the next child, but because I was genuinely sad and lost at times, even when very young. My sadness, my despair, my fear was deeply alleviated with this connection I found in the outdoors. I forgot, at least for a time, any fear or sadness, and only felt lightness and comfort. Alone, I visited this place within often. I carried it with me when we left my grandmother's house. I found it again as a young adult, walking beneath the trees on the campus at the University of Texas at Austin, where I went to school. I Googled this weekend trees and UT and found that there are 4,700 trees on that campus. Oaks, cedars, maples, sycamores, many of them very, very old. No wonder they made such an impression on a West Texas girl who was accustomed to vast expanses of desert, punctuated with low mesquite bushes and rolling tumbleweeds. To this day, when fear troubles my heart, I go inward to seek this outward connection to the all that is, this great love which reliably comes back to me, no matter how long it's been, nor how strong the storm, to comfort me, to lift my spirits, and to renew my faith in myself and in life. There is wisdom in the New Testament, and it says in 1 John 4:18 that there is no fear in love, but that perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not reached perfection in love. Now, as a Unitarian Universalist, a faith I found in my 30s, the most inclusive way to think about this spiritual feeling or connection is to imagine, and I want you to do this right now, imagine the greatest love you can imagine or hold in your heart. Imagine that love coming into your heart right now. And as it does, if you truly let that love in, it will begin to cast out any fear. Love may ask for respect, but love does not punish, and it does not pander in fear. So where does all the fear come from? First, if we are being honest with ourselves, at least many of us, there is the fear that we might indeed be punished, just as the scripture notes. And it may take a long time of soul searching to understand where this notion became embedded within us in the first place. For me, it was a combination of the hellfire and brimstone form of Christianity I knew as a child and the demands of my parents, both of which I had to let go of as I grew up, although I still care a great deal about what my mother thinks of me. And she will remind me, especially during the holidays. But another cause for fear at the soul level, mystic Catholic priest Thomas Merton said, is the great fear of the unknowns in our lives. And it takes some kind of faith in life or love or God or Gaia to break through the most difficult of these. People stay in horrible places, he notes, places that cause them great harm because of their greater fear of the unknown. If we can step out in faith and completely trust the goodness or love around us, a chain reaction occurs, Merton says, that dissolves fear. Fear, he wrote, is really all about the unknown, and the more you fail to take action, the more the unknown grows, and the more fearful you become. When you start taking action that produces results, your fear starts to crumble, and your faith grows until fear is eventually destroyed. I hope you can believe in that just a little. As a minister, I sometimes counsel to simply take any action, even the tiniest step, even though you have no trust at all, because almost anything is better than being frozen in fear. Even a mistake will shake some of its hold. As we allow more love into our hearts and souls, as we remember to trust that we do have inner power and that we are connected to something creative in life, our faith in life returns or evolves, and our fears are slowly cast aside. We regain our resiliency even to fail again and not let it cast us back into our utter fearful darkness. Now, the fear we are talking about today is at the heart and soul level, not external fears that we must navigate when we are in actual danger, but even in the face of something horrific. Taking a deep breath, a small action, gives our reptilian brains a chance to subside, which will help us make the best decision we can in the moment without simply staying frozen. For Merton, learning to work with soul fear is about learning to walk with God. I ask you to find your deepest knowledge of what makes your life worth living and beautiful, and to hold that close, and to remember it in times of trouble especially. It will help you cast out fear because it is your deepest love. If you learn to walk with your inner song, your inner music, if you can feel and keep your connection to the spirit of love and life when times are good, you will grow your heart and bring your soul closer to your inner light, and you will become stronger and stronger in the faces of life's many challenges.